All right. Well, let's get started here. Joey Rocha, Joey Rocha, whatever the hell your name is. Yeah, so very nice of you to come on out with your white racist hate. Your white racist hate. Joey Rocha and the white racist hate. So I didn't hear all of his garbage. But Joey Rocha wants us to think that, well, black people did slavery over 1,000 years ago, and it was Arabs that brought the slaves over to the United States. And what was the other bunch of BS about how the the black the free black people in America were buying slaves? So I'm going to help Joey and the rest of the minions understand what's called scale, proportion, and relevance. A person out of a million does something. You don't go out and say, well, gee, that's what they were doing. If 1% out of 100 is doing something, you don't try to make it look like that was the norm amongst that group. So, also, the further back in time you go, the less relevant it is. When a society that was involved in something in history is no longer in existence, there is no relevance at all. So, for you, Joey Rocha, to go on and on about what Africans did in the 6th century, not 600 years ago, the 6th century, means nothing. And I'm going to correct some of your historical inaccuracies. First of all, what Europeans did often was kidnap Africans off of the coast. And what they did was they paid certain tribes, usually smaller sized tribes, with guns and beer and booze and whatever else to kidnap people on their behalf. Now, that's insidious. It's evil. And here's the worst part for you. After those captured Africans were put on the ships, plenty of opportunity for those good Christian white people to free them. They didn't. They sent them into slavery, raped them, and some of them even sent their own children into slavery. That's how screwed up they were. And you say it was liberals in the South that were behind this. That's a lie. The people that were behind this were Bible thumping conservatives that wanted to maintain a social order, and they kept riding on the wave of this sense of patriotism and trying to stand for their quote unquote way of life. That's not liberal. That's never been liberal values. Liberal values has to do with changing a social order that may seem to be unfair or lacking modernity. Southerners, especially the slave holding ones, they weren't liberal. Well, Joey, I guess you're not ready to have this debate yet. And usually I think about when a person will try to prepare for the debate, how much prep work they'll need. In this situation, there is no amount of preparation that you can do that is going to stop me from rolling all over you. Like I always say, you flat earthers, you tend to walk hand in hand with the white supremacists. And Joey, I'm going to call you out on another level because you're not white. You're what's called a pseudo-white. You're a guy that isn't quite white, but you really want to go out of your way to show white people that you're in with the good crowd. And so this whole smearing and slandering of black people is no different than Orly Tates back in 10 years ago, trying her darnest to prove how white she was by fabricating lies about Obama's birth certificate. So I'm calling you out. I'm going to do another video, and I'm going to do as many videos as I feel is necessary to shut your nonsense down. Okay? Black Lives Matter is not an evil organization. The goal of Black Lives Matter is to end police brutality. And all of this drama and controversy after the fact is a distraction because people like you do not want to see the police brutality end. In one of your videos, you said, "Oh, I don't think police brutality is okay." Yeah, but you're ambivalent. And ambivalence is status quo. That's conservatism. And the ambivalence comes from a sense of you don't really want to deal with black people rising up to ultimately be a social and economic equal in this country. Everyday occurrences of black people being able to confidently defend their constitutional rights from encroachment, whether it be on a personal to personal level, whether it be a strong and reliable voice in court to uphold their rights against being unfairly prosecuted, or it could be just the next door neighbor not putting up with your shit, not deferring to you or people like you. That's what this is about. And I'm not done, not by a long shot. I've come across you from time to time on your videos trying to be aggressive, trying to be dominant. You've had to have your mic cut during debates because you wouldn't stop talking. That ain't nothing. That ain't nothing compared to the shit that you done stepped yourself in trying to get toe to toe with me on here. So we'll be debating real soon. We'll be debating real soon, buddy.